What is up, Wide Awake? It is good to be back. Hey, howdy doody. I'm feeling the love. Thank you guys. Love you all. Miss you all very much. So for you guys that don't know me, my name is Tyler Key. I'm on staff here. I've been gone for the last 6 weeks. My wife and I just had actually let me rephrase this. I had nothing to do with it. She just had our second child, so I'm super excited to be back. Absolutely, amen. God is good. Man, you guys look good. It is good to be back. It's loud in here, and I love it. I'm so excited, good energy. If you guys are in the back that just don't have a seat and you feel like you need to be super cool, just keep coming, all the cool kids up front. How is everybody doing? Good, good, awesome. Best week of their life? Worst week of your life. All right. Got a question for you guys. You guys have all been out in public and you've seen the hello, my name is, right? And it's got the blank. You guys have seen that, right? So you walk into a public area and you've got that little name tag on, and that pretty much is the only, you guys bring it back to me, guys, bring it back to me. That's the only representation of people in public who may know your name, right? That's the face with the name recognition. So that's where they say, your name is Tyler, you're the guy that, or your name is Jeff, you're the guy that, your name is Shylin, you're the girl that, right? So that's the only representation that the public may know in the first time meet is the name to a face. But when you try to talk to them, you don't have the opportunity to gain understanding on who your identity is and all those things in your life that fill in the blank. So being able to describe your life does not happen on that name tag. It's impossible. There's not enough time, there's not enough energy in the day to really get involved with somebody and say, this is me and this is who I am, right? It would take too long, and most people would probably check out within about 3 seconds of wanting to know, I really don't care anymore, right? But there's this really cool thing that happens in our life, and it's called identity. And the identity that we have is not caught up in this world. It's caught up in Jesus Christ. So tonight I'll walk you guys through some practical things. We'll learn it, take a look at some scripture, and I hope you guys are able to really just kind of to focus, to check in, take your phones. If you've only got your Bible app up, I'm super excited. If you got anything else up, I ask you guys just go ahead and swipe up, delete it, get it out. Let's just really focus on God's word. But before we get started, let's just jump into prayer. God, we thank you so much for tonight. We thank you for this opportunity, God, that we got to just sing to you and sing praises to your name. So God, just be with me tonight as to deliver your word. God, allow me to just be an empty vessel filled with you. God, I thank you for the worship team and that they were leading us into a time of worship, into your presence. So, guys, we continue in we love you and we thank you. And we just ask right now that you would just covet this time. God, we love you. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So who you are and what you think you are extremely different. There's a huge difference between the two. And what happens is in life is that we begin to become a product in which we surround ourselves with the most. So a practical example is if I stood on a chair and I were to invite somebody up, which I'm not going to do because I feel like somebody would fall and it would just be really bad. But I would stand on the chair and I would pull somebody up. It would take a lot of energy, it would take a lot of strength, but at the end of the day, I feel as if I could do it. It would take some time though. But the opposite is so true that if somebody's on the ground and I'm on the chair, they can quickly pull me down at a way, way, way faster rate than I can pull somebody up. So who you are and who you think you are completely different. And there's some practical examples that are like that. So how you treat your body, how you treat others, who you hang around with, and how you speak to others. Think about that. Are you the guy or the girl that shows up to a party and you're the first one to just go find the booze, and that's how you define yourself, is you're the fun person, you're the fun girl, the fun guy? Or how you treat your body. Maybe it's, me, I like the Grand Mac Attack, the brand new one. You got 3, extra large and the large and medium. So I'm able to get all 3, right? So I'm not treating my body too well. I know it's a joke, but I'm proud of our student minister, Jeff. He's been killing it for the last week, been eating healthy. Look at that. Yeah, get him. Dude is 8 days strong with no soda. Super proud of him. There was a lot of people just gasped right there, sodaholics. But see, also what begins to happen is after you go to these parties and you go to these places or these actions begin to define you, you get labeled. Right, you get labeled by, my mom says this, my friends say this, social media says this. They begin to define you by labeling you and actually defining you. Is that really fair, though? because they don't really know the whole you. They don't know everything about you. But labeling takes place, right? You've got jocks, you got nerds, you got gamers, you got weirdos, you go through all of the process. You go through all these different things, but yet labeling begins to take place. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like being labeled. It kind of drives me nuts. When I was in high school, which was a long time ago, I felt as if I was able to kind of mingle with everybody, that I didn't really have any core group of friends. But I know sometimes you guys get labeled, and that's not fair. See, the world spends advertisements alone, $17 billion a year to tell you how to dress, to tell you how to look, what to wear, how to smell. Everything in your life, $17 billion a year. That's a lot of money, right? So we begin to believe that that's who we need to be. That's who we are. But to really think about that, should we be labeled just by what the world tells us we should be? Just because an advertisement tells us who we should be? Another product that happens is these negative moments. And a negative moment be maybe a fight that you had with your parents. Maybe it's an argument that you had with a boss. Maybe it's your first time situation. Maybe you're going through just a really bad time with your teacher, right? And they say, you're never going to amount to nothing. You're a failure, right? And once you think you get past that, you begin to walk in a moment, and then all of a sudden it hits you again. You're like, man, they're right. I am a failure. I am no good. I suck at everything I do. And you begin to really doubt yourself. See, Proverbs 18:21 says that the tongue will either bring life or death, you choose. There's choice in your words. When was the last time you spoke into somebody's life? The best way to be an encourager is to begin to encourage. So when was the last time that you didn't cut somebody down at the knees because they didn't do something right? Rather than building them up, edifying them, and trying to grow them and walk in love with them. See, somebody in your life somewhere along the way, Proverbs 18:21 didn't happen just yet to them, and they cut you down at the knees, and now you feel like you're a product of failure. See, yes, we will fail, but it doesn't make us failures. There's a difference. We like to fail forward. We say that here on church staff all the time. Fail forward. Fail going in a way in which that when you get back up, you're a little further forward than what you were before. And I don't know about your guys' life and where that's at and what that looks like, but if you're a senior, you may not get that first-time college application. If you're a junior, you may be looking at what your senior year looks like, and you may not get the exact class that you wanted. It may be that you see your parents going through a divorce. Maybe it's going through, you're fighting right now through an addiction through pornography. But maybe that addiction to pornography, now you've went 10 days without a struggle. Celebrate that win. Super cool story coming up. So John was a close friend of Jesus, and he was actually one of the youngest disciples that was on the team. If you guys want to look at that as a team, he was the youngest one. And then he also was the oldest. By the time that he died, he outlived everybody. But John was one of the last people to physically spend time with Jesus. So he got itchy, and he wanted to start writing down things that had happened in his life and begin to give us some freedom into Scripture. So he wrote 1 John, 2 John. Who knows what's after 2 John? Man, you guys are good tonight. Yes. But he wrote those letters. And he wanted to give us some encouragement. And he wanted to tell us, and in 1 John chapter 3, verse 1, if you guys got it, pull that out on your app, on your phone, or if you guys got the Bible, go to 1 John 3:1, because some of you guys may have some different translations, and I wanted to throw out a word that may be out there tonight. So, see how very much our Father loves us, for he calls us his children, and that is what we are. See how very much our Father loves us, for he calls us his children, and that is what we are. Some of you guys may have an old English word that says lavishes. Lavish is an uncontrollable amount of love. It can't be controlled. So I don't know about you guys, but I think of a lot of Oreos. Like, lavish me with Oreos, right? Lavish me with milk and cookies. It's the first thing I think of. But really begin to think about that word tonight, about what that really means is that there is so much love from God that it cannot be controlled. It's a pretty big deal that John says that, because he goes in and tells us who we are and who we belong to. And the cool thing that happens after that is then we can go back and reflect on what John 3:16 says, is that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to go to the cross to pay it all for us. So not only did he say we belong to him, I will send my son to show you that I do, but yet we let the world describe to us who our identity is in and who we belong to. We belong to our sin, we belong to a culture, we belong to a group of people. But yet, clearly right there, John says it in God's word that we are his children, and that's who we are. So why is it that every single day you wake up and you turn on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it may be, your social media outlet of choice, and an Instagram ad pops up and it's a beautiful picture of a girl or it's a guy who's built? And that's the world tells us that's what we gotta look like. That's what we gotta dress like. In order for us to gain any attention from anybody, that is what we have to look like. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I get it. I got a body built by dad. I get it. Right? Things changed. Things started, I don't know what happened. Guys, don't graduate high school. Stay in as long as you can. Any fifth-year seniors, keep going on, promise you. All the free gym you can get. So here's the thing, is that the world tells us who we are, but yet they didn't create us. That would be like the builder of a motorcycle trying to go find somebody else to tell him what's in that bike, but yet he knows everything that's in it. So why do we turn away? Why do we look away? Why do we not go to the God that created us, but yet we go to the world and say, what do I do next? The world constantly changes. God's words never change, and he's never fallen void to us. There's no plot twist in any of this. But yet we go find another place that the world's going to change. It's going to change its mind. Guys, big hair in the 80s, 90s. I don't know what happened, 2000s. It was rough, but things changed, right? Just everything about this world changes. So why is it that we turn to the world rather than to God and his word? If you guys still are in 1 John 3:1, I want you to look at the verse that follows that immediately. People who belong to this world don't recognize him, that we are God's children, because they don't know him. So why are you as a Christian, a Christ follower, letting the world tell you who you are? They didn't build you. They didn't make you. They don't know anything about you. Heck, they don't even know who they are. It says it right there. They are trying to lead us and tell us who we are, but yet there is no relationship with them in God. Here's a practical example. I'm 5'11". I've been trying to get to 6 foot for the last 12 years. It hasn't happened. If I go to an 8-year-old, and I ask him, do you think I'm tall? What do you think he's going to say? If I go ask Kevin Durant, do you think I'm tall? What do you think he's going to say? Right? He's going to say, you're short. But the accurate truth is that I'm 5'11". In order for me to find out if I'm 5'11", I would go get a tape measure. I'd stand against the wall. I would hopefully get my mom or my dad, go back to the old school way, put the pencil right here, draw a line. I'd turn around and say, I'm 5'11". So let me tell you an accurate fact, that each of you in this room are sons and daughters to the King. So why do you let the world define you and define you by your sin? That's that self-check evaluation. You got to look at yourself in the mirror every day you wake up, and you got to begin to really think about, why are you letting the world and the things of this world dictate who you are, and change every single day. I got to do this different because the world tells me. When was the last time you picked up God's word in 1 John 3:1 and it said that you are my child? It's a great place to start. So here's some really cool things. Only thing. If you checked out for the rest of the night and you can remember one thing, remember this. What God says about you is most important. Try it one more time. What God says about you is most important. Try it one more time. What God says about you is most important. Thank you. Here's the thing you need to know. You are loved and you are his. And in order to know who you are, you must know whose you are. Finding out who you are is great, but whose you are is also great, because now I know who made me. See, there was a young boy in the Bible by the name of Jeremiah, and in Jeremiah 5:1, I believe, I might have got that wrong. No, 1:5, sorry, Volusia County High School education gets me every time. He says, before I shaped you in your mother's womb, I knew you. So not only did he know us before we were born, but after we came here in the physical sense, we are his children. So why is it that each day we get up and we doubt that the God of this world doesn't love us? So I want you guys to rewind to the beginning of the story, talking about my name. Your name is. And let's say your name is Dylan, Tyler, Jeff, Jeremy, whatever your name may be, right? And you get a second chance to walk into that room, and that second chance, your name says forgiven, redeemed, princess, king, forgiven, loved, child of God. Because all those things that happen between your life and in that story doesn't define you. What defines you is your identity, and is your identity in this world is your identity in Christ. When you walk out of this room tonight, there is absolutely 100% no way that any of the Dream Team leaders, myself, can stop this world, can stop the conversations that's going to happen tomorrow in the lunchroom, that's going to happen in the auditorium while you're walking back and forth into class, and all those things that you did before tonight. You're 100% right. You got me there. There's nothing that we can do to stop it. But are you going to allow that to take control of you, or are you going to drown them out because you will remind yourself that the most important thing is what God says about you? Each and every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to start a new day. We get stuck in the rut of what happened the day before, and we all fall victim to that. 100% right. Been there, done it. I've done it 100 times and probably will do it 100 times more. But once I take that self-check, that self-evaluation of myself and say, who do I belong to? Who am I? And whose am I? I go back to 1 John 3:1, and I am a child of God. He is mine, and he wants me. Tonight where you're sitting, God wants a relationship with you. He desires that. If you go back, like we talked about, Jeremiah, right there, before I knew you. And then after we come out screaming and hollering the whole way, God still loves us, and he still desires right where you're at. He loves you and desires a relationship with you. So before we go back into song, I want you guys to go into your small group tonight, and when you guys really begin to reflect on the questions, I want you guys to really think about identity. I don't want you to get hung up on your name. Yes, your name is important. Yes, it has value, and names do mean a lot. But identity is a whole different world. It'd be like a brain surgeon trying to tell a pilot how to fly. For the world to tell you who you are. You're not defined by your past mistakes. You're not defined by your failures. You're not defined by that. What defines us is what happened right there. Being a father is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. But there's no way that I feel like I could give my child up to die for somebody else and then be rejected, but still stand firm. And I know many of you guys went to school this week, and you guys probably thought about who's going to bring a gun to school and who's going to, replicate what happened down south. Guys, that was pure evil. And I can tell you right now that somewhere along the line, the tongue that speaks life and death was chosen to speak death to somebody. Guys, we as Christians, and yes, I'm speaking to the ones that have accepted Jesus, guys, we have an opportunity to wreck this world. Jesus chose 12 guys, which was crazy because back in the day, you used to go to the rabbi, but see, Jesus went to them. Game changing. We have an opportunity to be united as a group of believers right here to change this world, to speak life into somebody. I blew my opportunity in high school. I blew it. Worried about girls, which was only 2 because I married the second girl I dated. And I blew it on sports. It meant nothing. I got no college scholarship, but I got a beautiful wife and 2 little girls. But that's it. You guys right now have a honey hole of about probably 1,500 to 2,000 kids at your each respective school. What are you doing to change the lives of people through the Holy Spirit to guide you each and every step of the way for the kingdom? You may not have the tools, you may not have the resources, right? That's just a lie. See, Moses, if you guys go back and read that story, Moses was begging God, please don't use me, go use Aaron. God used Moses to just absolutely wreck this world in Jesus' name. So when you think that you're not ready, be still, be quiet, and pray. And as Tyler prayed that you begin to listen, you will hear. At CIY, we talked about the Selah moment, to just be still and really listen from God. So tonight, I would ask that before we go in, just to kind of spend some time into, Ty, if you could just kind of just pick, and you guys could just sit there in silence just for a few moments. Put your phones away, don't get distracted. But tonight, there may be somebody that's outside Jesus Christ that they need to come into a relationship with him. You may not know what that looks like, but you feel this still small voice just pulling at your heart right now in a million pieces, and you feel like this fire in your chest and you don't understand why. The dream team's going to be in the back. But I would ask that if you guys want to go speak with them, if something is laid on your heart, maybe you need just a time of prayer. Or maybe you want to take that next step of faith and get baptized. We want to speak to you tonight about what that is and understand what it's like to come into a relationship with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the man who came as God in the flesh and bankrupted a grave and defeated death, who came out victorious with death in his hand. God, I thank you. God, we love you. And God, as we just continue just a few moments, God, that we may listen to your voice. Guys, as we go into this next song, if you guys have a decision to make for Jesus, or you guys want to just go get a chance to maybe just be alone, step to the side, be in prayer, be quiet, or go into the back and speak to the dream team, I would ask that during this song that you guys would do that. I love you guys.